In video one, I talked about assessment measures. In this video, I will use one of those methods using a sample of the Gottman questionnaire. So good evening, Mignonette and Travis. I see that you've already completed your questionnaires and consent forms from earlier. Based on the responses you both provided, it looks like our goal is to address some friendship and intimacy things and some feelings of entrapment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in section one of the Gottman questionnaire, the question was, my partner usually listens to me. And so, Travis, you felt that Mignonette strongly. You agreed strongly,
Yeah.
and Mignonette, you felt that you just agreed.
Yes.
What do you feel the discrepancies were?
To my experience, I would say for the most part, I do feel like Travis does listen to me, but there are instances where it's not a misunderstanding, but miscommunicated. Like, not so much him not hearing what I'm saying, but not really listening to the whole picture. Like, we could kind of focus on one particular area and the bigger picture is missed. So, but we tend to have a really good way of clarifying and about what it is that I would be wanting to communicate to him normally.
So you feel correct me if I'm wrong, so when you talk to Travis, you feel that rather than listening to everything, he just summarizes what you're feeling and then talks about one issue that stands out.
Yes.
Okay. Travis, how do you feel about that?
She's right. I mean, as far as it goes with me, if I'm talking to Mignonette, she's listening attentively. When she's talking to me about certain things, yes, I can get caught up on the first point, not the main point,
Okay.
and I'll get sucked into that point and I'll immediately go into fix it mode and try to fix that first point and disregard everything else that was said after that, or not understand anything past that point. So, yeah, I can see that.
And do you know why you may do that?
I really don't. No. I don't know why I do that. To be honest with you, I do. I think it's the second she says that there's something wrong, I gotta fix it, and that's where my brain immediately goes. It's like, okay, we have to fix this issue, and everything else is shut down after that because I'm trying to fix that first issue. So, yeah, but I don't know why that is.
Do you feel like it may be something that's embedded in you from how things were between your parents or other relationships that you've seen modeled?
I mean, it's possible. It's very possible. I am just now learning a lot more about like my dad, as far as uh, mental abuses that were going on throughout childhood and things like that. Like, these are coming to light now as he's in his 60s and bringing them up.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see where, because, you know, I can see that would be, okay, I gotta fix this because I'm not trying to have it turn into something more like it did with my mother and my father, or me and my father, or whatever else. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I can see that, yeah. It's possible.
Okay. So, Mignonette, how do you feel? Do you feel like your perception of Travis's listening is based solely on your observances, or do you feel like it has something to do with overcompensation that you may have seen in your family dynamic?
I think it has, the way that I look at it, as it seems to be more so about maybe the way I communicate, because it does take me a while to get to, like, I'll start off with an issue that's already resolved, but I'm going back to the feelings that it has caused, or like the anxiety and questioning and the feeling feeling trapped sometimes. So I'll go back and talk about certain instances that have already been resolved, but just communicating how I felt about it so that there's a future reference for it. But I don't think in the moment of communicating, once I get past the initial reason that I was upset, because Travis wants to fix it, and he wants everything to be good, I feel like it's difficult to communicate, like, no, you can't fix it, it's already done and over with, it's fine. I'm just saying that's how I felt about it. And I'm not really saying anything's wrong per se, if that makes sense, but I'm trying really hard to communicate my feelings better, because that's a challenge for me. So it's more about how a situation made me feel versus the actual incident itself, because we always resolve those conflicts, but I have a difficult time with processing the feeling behind it.
Okay. And I know another point that was brought up with a lot of differentiation was Mignonette's feelings of being trapped or caught. And to hear you talk about how Travis wants to fix everything and how you feel like you don't communicate the way that you intend to communicate, how do both of you all's dynamics and role go with your feelings of being trapped, or what influence does that behavior of Travis wanting to fix everything have on you feeling trapped? Because you mentioned that sometimes that makes you hesitant to talk to him about things.
I feel like it's if he's wanting to fix everything, to be honest, I feel like, okay, then what left is there, if that makes sense.
Do you know what she means by that, Travis?
Not really, no.
I lost my train of thought.
Like, okay, so you say what else is there? If you fix everything, what else is there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like, I don't want it to be, like, bad. I'm just, like, let me see if I can rephrase it so that it makes sense. It's almost like a feeling, it's a feeling, I sometimes get feelings that make me want to go away, because I feel like it would be easier. Oh, that's what it was. When he's trying to fix everything, I feel like I'm losing a little bit of my independence, because I've done everything myself and for the kids in the house by myself for so long that it's new for me to have somebody so involved.
Okay.
And responsible and wanting to help make decisions when I'm used to being the one to make those decisions and those choices. So this new dynamic sometimes makes me want to leave, because it would just be, in my head, as a single parent, it's easier because you don't have to consider anybody else's thoughts, opinions, or feelings about kids. It's all you do and all in your control, and I'm losing that, which is fine because it's with a good person and I trust him with my life and I trust him with the kids and it's not a problem. But it's just because it's been like that for me for over 10 years consistently in all past relationships, and with my kids' fathers, I've always been the one, the most consistent, the one doing everything. So sometimes I feel like I'm having a challenge with sharing, if that makes sense.
So would you say that the reason you wanted to have counseling would be because you have an internal conflict of shared roles?
Yes.
That makes way more sense. That makes way more sense.
And a lot of that
which would also explain about my mother, because she's a single parent and nobody
And I like that you brought your mom into it and the bringing in the single parent thing, because a lot of times we don't know how much influence our upbringing has on us, especially as a child. We don't see things the way we do when we're an adult. So when you think about those shared responsibilities, it's before you all got married. you were real independent because that's what was modeled for you.
Yes.
So that's what you knew to resonate and to model for yourself. But now, how long have you guys been married?
2 years, almost three.
And at any point, have you ever felt less conflict with sharing roles, or has it been a constant struggle the entire time?
No, it's been wonderful. I mean, I like being able to depend on another adult in the house. It's really, I've seen a lot of improvement with, the kids, and I really like them having that structure and that stability. My goal is always to have them have a stable kind of family life, preferably with two parents. And so now that I had that situation, I feel good about it. But it's also a conflict for me because of me being raised by a single parent and having been a single parent for so long. I'm still struggling with relinquishing some of that control.
Okay.
And I have a very type A controlling personality to begin with.
So Mignonette says she has a type A controlling personality.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe your personality?
That's a good one. Well, my personality, I am definitely one that I'm a planner. Um, I'm a planner, and I'm definitely like within the house. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I've been changing lately, actually. Usually, I'm very explosive and loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really, really been trying to change that, especially towards the kids. I don't want. I don't want. I mean, it's fine to have a little bit of fear towards your father.
Mm-hmm.
It helps, but I don't want reactions of fear every time I cough, sneeze, anything.
So when you say it helps, are you saying as far as providing structure and
right,
discipline, setting
right,
limits?
yeah, exactly, yeah, like that's okay, but that's a tough one. Like my personality, I do know that I can be controlling. I like to be in control of my own situation, and I do like to call the shots a little bit. But I don't have a problem if the other person is like, "Hey, I'd rather it not be like this. It's give and take."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't. As far as my personality goes, I really don't know. I don't spend a whole lot of time like, what kind of person am I? I don't do that at all. I'm more concerned with kids. Are they good? They're clean. They're fed. House is clean. Everybody's good. The wife, how's she feeling? She seems good. Everything's okay. So as long as everything's on an even keel in the house, I'm fine.
Okay. So Mignonette, I heard Travis say that it's a give and take relationship, but starting off, you were saying how you're struggling with the shared responsibilities role. So hearing how he says that he envisions you all's marriage to be about a give and take, how does that make you feel in relation to your feelings of being trapped?
I agree. I agree that we have a give and take relationship where we communicate very well and we're making sure that kids are good. We're both okay, making sure we're okay with each other. I agree with that. I think my feelings of feeling trapped stem from, I don't really know where that stems from because it's just, I can't describe the feeling. I just always sometimes have thoughts of, um, what if this wasn't the situation and it was me and just the kids, like how would that be? So it's more like that, than me not wanting to be here. It's just a conflict with me feeling like I'm losing control over a situation versus looking at it as a partnership and a team, and we've created this family that I love. So I know in my head and everything else, the reality is that it's a healthy situation. The kids are safe. Travis is a wonderful husband. He's a good father. He's good with Emmanuel, and I really want him to have a strong male presence in his life, you know, because his dad's not involved. So all of these things are good, but I'm still trying to hang on to the control. So it's more so feeling trapped because I feel like I'm losing control. I'm trying to hold on to something.
So it looks like we've gotten into the meat of the problem. It seems like you both feel very committed to each other. You feel very stable and safe in your relationship. However, your concerns are losing that sense of self, losing that control, learning how to share rather than to feel dominated. So we have a pretty good start. So what I'm going to do is, before we close out, is kind of explain the purpose of some of these questions. Asking the questions were pretty much to allow you all to set the tone. Of course, coming in originally was an agenda, but once you guys started talking, it's Travis, you noted that this makes sense. It's when you all talked about the issue and when it was presented, it wasn't presented in the way that you led up to. So guiding yourself to the solution, okay, this is really the problem. This is really what we want to focus on. And then also being able to reflect back and see how your upbringings kind of influence those. And it's a lot of, it seems like it may be more subconscious rather than conscious feelings that are causing certain actions. And so in closing out this section, what I want to task you all with before the next section is to do some self-reflection. Just look at each other and look at yourselves, weigh the pros and cons of me feeling this way, also doing some reflective journaling of I statements. I feel this way because, again, with the feelings of the fear of losing control, at being able to question yourself, is it the worst thing or the best thing if I give up some control? What does it mean to give up control? Is it really me giving up control, or is it me sharing responsibilities? What exactly does it mean to share responsibilities? How do I share responsibilities without losing myself? And so then we'll pick up with this again in the next session.
Okay.
Any questions? All right.
Cool.